Major DOD updates coming. We're also going to talk about Lindsey Graham, who's on my bad side now.
Do we have to?
We have to. And David Limbaugh, Rush's brother. Coming on the show. Talk, the resurrected Jesus.
He's a Christian. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Hey, y'all. Welcome to CrossPolitic. Pastor Toby Chuck Knox. I'm the water boy. It's good to be with you. Davis Yuntz, lawyer with standwithwarriors.org, is here to give us an update, kind of a major update on what's going on with the DOD regarding their forced vax policies. Davis, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, guys. This is huge news that's come out today.
Yeah. So what is going on, and why is this a big development?
So what we got access to last night was an internal memo from the watchdog for the Department of Defense, the Inspector General's office. And what we learned is the Inspector General has found that all of the services have not been following the law when it comes to their review of religious accommodation requests.
Wow.
They're not doing the individualized review that's required. And the crazy part of this memo is the IG did a detailed analysis and said it was impossible for any of these reviewing agencies, any of these senior appeal authorities to have spent more than 12 minutes on any one military member's package. In other words, they did the analysis and said, even if they spent 10 hours a day, they were uninterrupted 10 hours a day doing nothing else for 90 days, they could not have spent more than 12 minutes per package. So this confirms the fear that we've had all along, which is the fix was in from the beginning. The Department of Defense was going to deny these religious accommodations and not follow the law with an individualized review. So this is big news. We believe it's going to be very, very helpful in the ongoing federal litigation, because as the attorneys in those cases take depositions and submit affidavits, we're going to be able to cross-examine key DOD witnesses with this information, and it exposes what we feared from the beginning, which was the fix was in.
Incredible.
Wow.
Davis Yuntz, thank you for that major update, and thank you for joining us. Come back.
Davis, real quick, can you tell us how we can keep track of this particular case? Can we follow you anywhere and engage where you're writing at so we can just kind of keep some updates going outside of being on CrossPolitic, of course?
Absolutely. Yeah. Standwithwarriors.org. Standwithwarriors.org is a great place to go, as well as folks can follow me at the Military Council on Facebook and Instagram, and I will provide media updates there as well.
Thank you, Davis. Appreciate it.
God bless. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, brothers.
Home. It's where you build your legacy, where traditions are started, seeds are planted, meals are shared, and stories are told. Home is where you prepare to go out into the world. Finding the home that's perfect for your family is a big job. Story Real Estate is Moscow, Idaho's top real estate team. They give people real estate advice actually from all over the country. Family homes, investments, land, new construction, or commercial. They know real estate. If you've thought about a move to Moscow or anywhere else in the country for that matter, reach out and get connected with the Story Real Estate agent. Wherever you're going, they can help guide you home. Visit storyrealestate.com.
And they support CrossPolitic. Did they say that in the ad? I just want to make
sure. Support them because they support us.
That's right.
It's never a good show when we got to talk about Lindsey Graham. What we've experienced in this whole COVID mess and the last, I would say, 20 years of the Republican Party is a failure of the baby boomer generation to lead us. Right. An absolute failure of the baby boomer.
Well, rhinos.
Gabe is upset. Have you noticed that?
He's a little worked up.
Rhinos. So Lindsey Graham came out today. I'm just going to ignore you guys for a minute. He came out today to introduce a federal 15-week abortion ban. Roll the clip.
We will introduce legislation, along with a lot of my colleagues, to basically get America in a position at the federal level I think is fairly consistent with the rest of the world. 15 weeks. A baby's at the 15-week period. What does that mean? Well, it means if you're going to operate on the baby, which happens, to save the child's life, to provide medical treatment, the standard practice in medicine is to provide anesthesia. Now, why would you do that? You provide anesthesia because the science tells us at the 15-week period, the nerve endings of the baby are pretty well developed and the child feels pain. So here's our point.
Hey, pause real quick. I want to give Lindsey Graham a bunch of anesthesia right now. That guy, that's Star Parker in the background, by the way.
I know.
And this is Republicans. This is what they do. We get a victory at the Supreme Court, and we turn it into a loss. That's what we're doing right now.
I'm not feeling you, Gabe, but I'm going to say in a
we
second.
get a
Go
victory
ahead.
at the Supreme Court. We end abortion. We get rid of that federal
mandate or whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. A bad law.
And then the Republicans are like, hey, Democrats, let us show you how we can regulate abortion federally.
Yeah.
Keep rolling the clip.
To provide anesthesia to keep the baby from feeling pain to help save its life, should we as a nation be aborting babies that can feel excruciating pain from an abortion?
Okay. So.
You answer that question.
What? No.
Should we be aborting babies that can feel pain?
You know what? I'm gonna.
No.
But there's another clip, and I want to hear the other clip before I answer because Gabe is about to throw his water in my face and mess up our
pen.
There's a reason. So Lindsey Graham is doing this because he wants to make sure that America is inside the world conversation.
Right.
If we adopted our bill, we would be in the mainstream of most everybody else in the world. I think there are 47 of the 50 European countries have a ban on abortion from 12 to 15 weeks. And I picked 15 weeks, which is a little longer than Belgium, Germany, and Spain.
So wicked.
Longer than France, Denmark, and Norway. Now, why did I do that? Because I feel comfortable at 15 weeks, the science tells us that the nerve endings are developed to the point that the unborn child feels pain.
You need
So
demons
the
need to
theory
be
of the
cast out of
case
them.
here is not to be like Europe so much, is to have a standard in America that would prohibit abortions during the birthing process at a stage where it's pretty clear from the science and most of the world this should be a no-go.
Okay, Gabe.
Unless there's some extraordinary reason.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
So the reason why we're for incremental legislation, when let's say we're in New York and you can have an abortion
We've
at
had
9
that
months,
conversation
it's
before.
already baked in,
Yeah,
right?
but-
And we're trying to dial it down. We're trying to fight and save as many babies as we can and dial it down to 15 weeks, whatever. What Lindsey Graham is doing here is he's giving them. There's no standard right now, and
No.
he's giving them
You're
the
wrong.
standard.
You're wrong.
This is always fun.
This
when
is-
there's an
no,
argument.
that's exactly what he's doing.
You're taking the bait. Okay.
I ain't taking no
No,
bait.
you
Lindsey's
are.
taking the bait.
No,
Lindsey's doing this because
No,
he
he's
wants to
not taking
win
the
the
bait.
elections in November. That's the only
Okay.
reason why he's proposing
now
this.
that you're
He's
there,
taking the bait.
Widen it out a little bit.
He's taking the debate.
Widen it out a little bit. So Lindsey Graham knows you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to vote Republican in the midterms. It doesn't matter that he's talking about a 15-week ban, a 24-week ban. You know,
I'm going to wrap up Lindsey Graham. I'm going to set him aside. I'm going to talk to his doctor about him.
This is a play that he's running because of fear.
Yeah.
The Republicans are
100%.
afraid that they're going to miss out on that gooey 30% in the middle, and so they're running a play to try and say we are not radicals. That is the wrong play.
Yeah. Right.
It's
He's taking the bait.
You're right. You're right to be upset, but you're upset at the wrong things. He doesn't even halfway believe what he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay, this is try to play the middle. To get that side to come over to see that we're not radicals.
We're European.
We can all come together underneath that kind of that. So he's running the play. So this is a wrong play. There's all sorts of things that we disagree with about what he's saying. There's no question about that. But the problem is that he's not running the play to actually communicate what he really needs to communicate. When you run a play out of fear, everybody smells the fear. Then sharks in the water get to swooning, and that's how you get killed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to run the play in a more positive way. So again, I'm not even because this is not about abortion.
You're
necessarily.
talking specifically to the political calculation
this
of
is
what
where
he's doing.
This is where we mess up at all the time. We miss the play. This is just a bad run of a play. Instead, what he should have said
a wicked run
what he
of
should
play.
have done was say, hey, listen, America, we have had lots of talk about life. And we want to let everybody know that we value human life in America. There is not a greater commodity than human life in America. Yeah. And because we feel that way, we want to remove income tax so that people can have more money for their families to raise the children that they need. Abortion is a massive problem, but could you imagine if people had more money?
Yeah.
So let's remove the income tax.
Vote for Chocolate Knox. Vote for Chocolate Knox. Chocolate Knox.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Chocolate Knox.
If you're gonna, because what he's doing is running it because he needs to remove the radicalism.
Yeah.
Wrong play.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Republicans are feeling the pinch from the Supreme Court victory.
And Gabe is right, though. This is what Republicans always
what they do. But dial the radicalism up, but on the other side. What does it look like to be radical about life? Not what does it look like to make sure that you like me because I'm not as radical as you think I am. No.
Right.
I'm far more radical than you think I am. But in the way that incentivizes love, beauty, joy, life, freedom.
Provision.
We have been asking the American people to tighten their belt. Inflation is huge right now. It's gone up. It's crazy. And the federal government is asking the American people to tighten their belt. I think the federal government needs to tighten its belt. Give up the income tax. See, this is what I'm saying. We're missing the play here. Is the abortion play going? Yes. But how do we play in such a way that we see that, but I'll raise you 7?
Make the Democrats say, no.
Right.
No, we have to keep your taxes.
Right.
We have to keep your chains. I mean, your noose. I mean.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Make them have to say, whoa, what would we do without income tax? And they make the American people say.
Lindsay's going to negotiate with babies.
Yeah.
Right. That's my point.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And because when you make plays out of fear, you run right into the trap that the enemy has set for you. You make plays out of faith. That's right. Right. You make plays out of human flourishing. What does human flourishing look like? Not what does it look like to, oh my goodness. And so I want to be upset about this, but then I stopped for a second and I looked and I said, I'm too narrowly viewing this. Of course I do. I want every life to be valued.
But politicians are going to politician.
And if you're going to politician,
right,
do it in a way that actually wins. That's a winning argument.
Right.
And if it's going to be radical, and you can, look, he's doing this knowing that it's not going to get passed. He got a Democratic Senate. They aren't passing this bill. No. So this isn't about getting passed. It's not about getting it through. This is only about how we look in November, right? Well, if it's about how we look in November, then give them something to talk about.
That's right.
You know what
That's right.
Okay,
as opposed to this.
Where's the preacher?
Well, I was waiting for the Eddie Murphy.
Where's the
Eddie Murphy thing.
But this is the kind of leaders we have. Yeah. And somebody said, I think we need to look at them and say, well, what would human flourishing look like? I mean, honestly, we were talking about this, Gabe. We were talking about the, what's the other tax you talked about? The incentive tax?
Oh, sales tax. There was a wages tax, income tax.
Yeah, we were talking about the wages tax, possibly
sales tax. There's a number of different taxes federally that are connected. Capital gains tax is another one.
You said there was 9 ways that we are taxed by our federal government.
Yeah.
What does that do to human flourishing?
Right.
Yeah, let me get to
they're
this
just robbing us in that way, right? Well, let's remove that.
Yeah, we got there's 9 different taxes or categories: sales tax, sin tax, like cigarettes tax. That's on top of sales tax. Travel tax. You go and rent a car and you have to pay travel tax.
Oh, yeah, I see that when I get my flights.
Capital gains tax, inheritance estate tax, income tax, value added tax, payroll tax, and then property taxes. 9 different ways. That this happens on us.
And we have that, and they're not taking that option.
And here, Lindsey Graham is negotiating with babies.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if he goes after taxes, he's gonna cut out one of his own legs.
Right.
Well, they're all funny. They're all excited about funding. Yeah,
I know.
Please do.
But that's why he doesn't think that way.
They're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine because they're all getting a return on that investment.
Right. That's the thing. Is in order to see that play that you're talking about, Knox, which is beautiful.
Well, thank you, sir.
By the way, in order to see that play, you can't be a greedy man. You can't be a covetous man. In Exodus 18, when Jethro told Moses he needed to choose judges to help him lead the people, he said they needed to be people who feared God.
Yes, right.
And hated covetousness.
Didn't take bribes.
Didn't take bribes and hated covetousness. Yep. And there's a
we're full of it.
There's a reason why that's at the top of the list. Fear God, don't take bribes and hate covetousness. But I think that's why you're not going to hear any Republican out there.
We're going to have people, though, who fear God and don't take bribes to get those kind of leaders.
Yep.
All right, David Limbaugh up next. Talk about where's the book at?
The Resurrected Jesus?
You've taken the whole book. There it goes, The Resurrected Jesus. More CrossPolitic coming up next with David Limbaugh.
Home. It's where you build your legacy, where traditions are started, seeds are planted, meals are shared, and stories are told.
We are Chris and Natalie Carpenter, owners of Story Real Estate, and our team of top agents helps people find homes in Moscow, Idaho, and around the country.
Have you thought about a move? Contact us to get connected with a top agent who shares your values and puts your family first. Or reach out to us about our Moscow relocation guide.
Wherever you're looking to go, we can help you find home. Call us at Story Real Estate or visit us at storyrealestate.com and start building your legacy.
This is where Dave and I plan this year's company holidays.
Let's go through the list.
Easter,
Too religious.
St. Patrick's Day?
too white. Mother's Day?
Way too cisgendered.
All of your usual holidays have been canceled this year.
But we still have Karl Marx's birthday! Ha
Need a real reason to party? Find a new job at redballoon.work.
I'm not done talking about Lindsey Graham.
I am.
We're done.
That knocks.
Stop it.
All right. All right. I am.
Maybe,
I am excited to talk about talk with David.
Yeah,
though.
maybe David he's going to have a word for you on Lindsey Graham, I think.
Maybe.
Welcome back to CrossPolitic on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Stop and take a moment to talk about the Fight Laugh Feast Club membership. By joining the Fight Laugh Feast Army, not only will you be aiding in our fight to take down secular and legacy media,
that's right,
liars all, but you'll also get access to content placed in our club portal, such as past shows, all our conference talks, and exclusive daily content for club members that you won't be able to find anywhere else. Today we have David Limbaugh with us, and he'll be going into Backstage at the end of the show. Yeah. Lastly, you also get discounts at our conferences. Remember, we're going to be at Knoxville, Tennessee, on October 6th through the 8th. There's still space available. If you're a club member, you get $100 off. You can sign up now to become a club member, FightLaughFeast.com.
And if you can't make it and you're a club member, you'll be able to stream live all the conference talks.
That's right.
Stream live all the conference talks.
We're not even talking about the day pass, but we got to bring that up.
Yeah.
Day pass on Saturday.
So much.
A new website coming, right, Gabe?
Yeah. It was supposed to come this last weekend, but
Okay.
We're really grateful to have with us today Mr. David Limbaugh. He's lawyer, political commentator, the brother of the late radio host Rush Limbaugh, and he recently co-authored a book with his daughter, Christian Bloom, called The Resurrected Jesus, the Church in the New Testament. David, thanks for coming on CrossPolitic.
Thank you so much for having me, you three impressive young fellows.
Well, look at this guy. I like him already.
You sound like a politician.
That's a lawyer.
David,
never.
So, as you look at the modern American church, what New Testament book would you give them to meditate on, and why?
Yeah.
Well, I think all of these books these first four books that Paul wrote, and we cover the last 7 of Paul's epistles, and the prison epistles are addressed to 4 of the churches that he's planted on the Mediterranean basin, like Ephesians and Colossians, Philemon, and Philippians. Now, Philippians is not one. Well, you know what? I can't be forced to choose. Philippians is an uplifting one. Philippians is an uplifting one and tells us to have joy as Christians. We can't leave that out. But what I think you're really getting at, being a mind reader, is that there is a lot of false teaching going on in churches, inside the church, and it threatens the very existence of the church. Yep. The Methodist Church, my church, is threatening a schism, an existential schism, because the liberals have controlled it. The only reason that it's been saved is the Africans outnumber us, and the Africans are conservative.
Right.
So it's disgraceful what's going on in the American Methodist Church. But Paul was addressing these false teachings at the time he wrote these epistles. And, he just planted these churches. He wants them to grow and flourish. Otherwise, Christianity won't grow and flourish. But if you dilute the gospel, if you impurify it, it obviously won't continue to grow. So he addresses the heresies. And I could go into specific heresies if you want. I don't know where you want to go. But, for example, a lot of the heresies were based on either downplaying Christ's divinity or his humanity. Christ is 100% human, 100% divine, as you all know.
Right.
And the Gnostics, the precursors to the Gnostics in the first century, they flourished in the second century, were saying that all matter, material matter, is evil. Right. Therefore, Christ couldn't have been a human. Therefore, his death on the cross was an illusion. Well, you can see what a heresy that is, because what an insult to God, who had his son become a human, take on human form, to suffer all the indignities of human existence, be punished, tortured, persecuted, murdered, and died for our sins after being bodily resurrected, and then being bodily resurrected, so that we could follow him through faith in him and live with him in everlasting glory. Well, if you say that you need something beyond faith, that it's faith plus works, that it's faith plus circumcision, faith plus going with the ritual rites, the Jewish ritual rites,
Mm-hmm.
you're polluting the gospel, and you're saying you really don't need Christ all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so you negate the faith. It's not just a quibble about
That's
something
right.
insignificant. And so these heresies were that. They were the Judaizers and the syncretism of the pagan religions. The gospel is clear. Salvation by faith alone in Jesus Christ.
Amen. David, first of all, you're not a pastor. Second of all, how is Gnosticism, that particular heresy, affecting us now?
Well, I think that there are people in this world who, Jehovah's Witnesses, for example, and I don't know about Mormons, excuse me, and I'm not here to denigrate anybody anyway. All I'm saying is we need to adhere to the truth. We're not judging. Jesus as the judge. But there are so many false teachers. It's not just Gnosticism. It is people who say that Christ was all salt and light and, he was just, skipping around in the daisies like Tiny Tim. And he never had a harsh word to say about anybody. And then mean old Paul came along and introduced a terrible gospel. And the Old Testament, God was mean. Jesus was nice. Paul was mean again. Yeah. It's absurd. There's one God. He never changes. He never lies.
Amen.
And Jesus Christ is God. He's the Son of God. He's the exact image in Hebrews it says in the book of Hebrews, of the Father.
Yeah.
I and the Father are one. If you look at the Father, you see me. There's no other way to the Father except through me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. He was explicit, and he didn't countenance the money changers in the temple going about the temple and denigrating, disgracing the temple. He turned over. Jesus didn't say, I'm the great uniter, liberals. He didn't say that unity was the greatest virtue. He said, I come to divide mother and father, brother and sister. Right. Not that he was a divisive guy on its own. He represents, he is truth, and he's not going to tolerate attacks on the truth because it undermines faith in him, and that it's all about faith in him and what he has done. And so these liberals who try to put us to sleep by their fraud about let's reach across the aisle. First place, they never do. The left never reaches across the aisle. Mm-hmm. Our goal is to defeat them and to champion truth and champion the Christian principles upon which this nation is founded.
David, you mentioned your own denomination, the Methodist denomination. I come from the PCA, Presbyterian denomination. We split from the PCUSA, which is the liberal side of the Presbyterian denomination.
Yeah.
Why are liberals so good at taking over things and Christian conservatives are not good at taking it back and claiming it back?
Thank you. Because you 5-point Calvinist, you.
Amen. Got us.
I'm kind of a schizoid between Arminian and Calvin. I'm like some, back and forth. I can't. Yeah. I need therapy.
You just need to drink scotch with us, and we'll take care of it all. We'll fix it all.
There you go. Well, Luther liked beer. I'm more along his lines. Okay. I'm kind of a better rat. But what did you ask me? I
I was basically asking. You come from a Methodist denomination, which is going liberal. I'm from Presbyterian denomination. Why
do they win? Because we don't fight. It's in the political arena and it's in the theological arena. Yeah. Why do you think a character such as Donald Trump came to the fore? He never could have come to the fore before. People are so sick of conservatives looking the other way. I'll give you an example, you guys. Mm-hmm. Even on Fox, which I adore, and I represent I wear my other hat. I'm an entertainment lawyer, agent, whatever. I got a lot of clients there, and I love them. And this isn't being critical of them, but our eyes are closed. You guys may think I'm an idiot for what I'm about to say. I think Darwinism, at least as to macroevolution, and the environmental climate change idolatry are two of the biggest frauds ever perpetrated on mankind. Our side doesn't have the cojones to stand up because they're afraid to look like an idiot, like I just made myself look. Yeah. So what do you mean you're denying? No, Darwin, you Darwinians, explain the fossil record, explain the Cambrian explosion, explain how matter existed from nothing, explain how life sprang out of non-life. It's absurd. Even the new atheists have no explanation for it, and they don't have to because they play these games like, you have the burden of proof in a debate, as if this is some kind of a cosmic game. This is no game. Yeah. So I'm just telling you, there's no other explanation that our side refuses to stand up. That people on Fox or elsewhere goes, climate change is serious. We do have to do something. We just can't do it as fast because people why do you guys have to concede the premise?
That's right.
Listen, even even if it were true, even if man were causing this, we can't affect the global thermostat 1 degree in 100 years. Studies have shown that.
Yeah.
And so why are they doing this?
Yeah.
It's a Trojan horse for Marxism. I don't think they all believe it, because a lot of them are dupes behind the demonic forces behind them. Oh man, am I sounding crazy? And I'm loving
it. More crazy. I want to know, when you and Rush argued, who won?
I knew better.
Okay.
You know what though? He wasn't really combative. You know, he wasn't really combative with me. He was so supportive, and he probably just deferred to me. Like when I'm arguing, I'm trying to bait him. Hey, you're big national talk show host. Come on, get in a debate with me. No, I'm kidding. We didn't. He was so generous and supportive, and really in his personal life, he wasn't that cantankerous at all.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
and he could have kicked my what if we did. Because I do have some biblical wisdom.
Yeah. David, first of all, we share a name, David. I kind of want to know what other tax you're sitting on, because something is making you get up out that seat more and more. So I almost want to just let you just speak. But if you had to pick one place to have this fight right now, public square and church, where are you going? Are you going to the homes? Are you going to the pastor's office? Where are you going to say, all right, let's start this correction process, and here's where I'm going to start at?
That's a good question. I have mixed feelings about my dog is crying to eat in the background.
No, dog's just saying amen. That's all the dog is doing.
Listen to him. Teddy, shut up. Anyway, no, I think we got to fight on both fronts, but it's tougher in church because there's so many people who have been sold this bill of goods where you can't talk about anything in church that resembles politics. Well, here's the truth. I don't want my pastor to talk conservative politics from the pulpit. But once again, Satan wins, because talking biblical morality is denominated conservative politics. Yeah. Right. Well, I can talk about abortion all day. They're the ones who politicize it, not me. Right. And yet, not us. And yet, but for us to do it constitutes political. But it really isn't. But I think people are so squeamish in church. Oh, we just kumbaya. We want to get along. You can't. And that's tough. That really is tough. It's tough to do it winsomely. I prefer, I guess, to do it from the outside and have whatever influence we can in these public fora like we're doing, or writing, that kind of thing. But I don't know. Maybe that's where I lack courage or lack the energy to go in and try to. But I see churches as so institutional and so intransigent, even local churches, that all you would, and Paul tells us we don't want to cause all kinds of disruption in a church and disharmony. However, he doesn't want us to quibble, but he doesn't want us to compromise on truth. Right. So it's a tough needle to thread, I think.
Is the same problem going on? I mean, we the first segment we were talking about Lindsey Graham coming out with this 15-week abortion ban, federal ban, and it just seems to us like a mealy mouth rhino talk. Let's go. We'll be we're not extremists. We're doing exactly what Europe's doing. Rather than taking a road reversal and running down the field
with that victory.
I mean, it seems like republicanism in general is laced with this kind of cowardice as well.
You're so right. You're so right. Name me a time when compromise with liberals resulted in the football moving toward the right side of the field.
Man, you bet.
That's right.
And when they want us to compromise, they never compromise. Yeah. I mean, they never compromise. Right, yeah. And think about it. I'm no more conservative than I was during the Reagan 80s. And they say we're extreme. Right. Look at what they've done. Look how extreme they are. Although they kind of always were. They're just more out of the closet now. Right. And it's right. The people talk about Obama. Oh, Obama's not nearly as radical. Wrong. He was that radical. He just couldn't get away with doing any more than he could do. That's He's the one maybe pulling the strings, Biden's strings right now. I don't know, but.
Yeah. I got a bunch of questions to ask him in the back.
You might want to become a club member right now, so you can see if David Limbaugh is going to bust a blood vessel in the backstage.
Or if he's going to come out of his seat fully and just run around the library with his head on fire.
The dog might be coming in the office and in his lap. We don't know what's going to happen next.
Hang on.
We're going to be with David Limbaugh in the backstage. If you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. If you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. And get this book, The resurrected Jesus.
Get it or be cursed. Get it or be...
Oh, you guys are calling down curses now. Oh, David.
When I talk to families about NSA, I'm almost always asked, what do our graduates do? The short answer is that NSA grads end up in a wide variety of disciplines: founders of businesses, filmmakers and producers, doctors, writers, marketers, financial experts, lawyers, teachers, pastors, consultants, software developers, and more. And it's a good question, but there's something that we need to talk about when it comes to this question. It shows how much our society has bought into the idea that a college degree is primarily about certifying you for a particular job. A college education ought to reach far higher than mere job training. The original goal of higher ed was to train, shape, and prepare our young people to be cultural leaders wherever they go, no matter what career they land in. Think of it like this: the historic liberal arts student, the student we are cultivating at NSA, is a mechanic for maintaining a just, equitable, and free society. The question I would ask you is, does our society need such mechanics today? Would this graduate have lots of work to do? Well, yes, an overwhelming amount of work. Today we live in a society that is falling apart largely because we stopped equipping our students with the know-how they need to build, preserve, and fight for our freedoms, culture, and society. If your son or daughter faithfully pursues this type of education, it means that they will always have plenty of productive, fruitful work to do, because there are just so few people being prepared in this way. Think of any organization, a business, a nonprofit, a local government. What do they need? People. In particular, they need people who are equipped to problem solve, communicate, think outside the box, work well with a team, all while being moral and ethical. Students trained in the liberal arts are equipped in these areas, making them highly employable. Employment for the Christian goes far beyond landing a job as a coder and has more to do with being a leader if you end up coding. Over the centuries, liberal arts graduates have taken on countless critical leadership roles in a wide range of industries, becoming professors, pastors, writers, politicians, legal experts, and founders of businesses. Such leaders forged our nation. And beyond their day jobs, such people go on to do really important work like building schools, churches, and other key organizations that serve as places of refuge and strength in a broken land. Even more importantly, they go on to start strong families and raise the next generation of saints. The result of such education is dynamic communities centered around worshiping the triune God and enjoying Him forever. The switch from viewing college education as mere job training to that higher calling of leadership building is a serious paradigm shift. But the more I see our graduates go out and build, both here in Moscow and in the world at large, the more I see the long-term fruit of this orientation shift. For decades, the American college campus has been the battleground upon which the church lost the next generation. We send our kids away to college, and they come back with their faith destroyed, and their allegiances converted to woke ideologies. But it doesn't have to be like this. College can be the culmination of our children's Christian education, where their love of God is strengthened. Here, they are given the tools not only to follow in the footsteps of their ancestors, but to stand on the shoulders of their forebears and to rebuild the walls of Christendom. For this reason, New St. Andrews was founded, and for this reason, we continue to gift our students with the liberal arts so they can reach their higher callings. To learn more, visit the link in this post, and as always, I'd love to chat if you want to learn more.